Four Smithsonian museums, try saying that fast, in the nation's capital are reopening to visitors today. Now, they've been closed for more than 6 months because of the pandemic. Chip Reid got an exclusive look at what the National Museum of African American History and Culture is doing to keep visitors safe. Chip, good morning to you. I'm so glad to see that they're opening up. This is long overdue. People are ready to go. But why was it so important to reopen this museum now?
Well, Gail, you know, the central mission of this museum is to teach people about the long struggle for racial justice in this country. And people who work here say that is a lesson that might well be more important right now in this country than ever.
Where crowds used to gather outside the National Museum of African American History and Culture, staff members are now preparing for a new reality.
Of course, you have to wear a mask.
Museum Acting Director Spencer Crew says for the first couple weeks there will be just 250 tickets issued each day, compared to over 4,000 before the pandemic. Video exhibits and touchscreens will be turned off, and the lobby is now equipped with plexiglass and hand sanitizer.
We're really trying to make sure the public is safe, but also our staff is safe.
I understand you have sensors that can keep track of the numbers of people coming through.
We do. They're high up in the ceiling, and we can just see how many people are in each space. So as it gets too crowded, we might want to direct people to other parts of the museum.
3 other Smithsonian museums also reopened today with similar precautions. After months of nationwide protests calling for racial justice, Crew says these exhibits offer a timely message.
We've always been a place that's looked at social justice, and I think as people come to visit us, they will see that history. They will understand how people have really worked very hard to try to make a difference in the world, and hopefully it'll inspire them to also try to make a difference in the world as well.
The museum has been collecting signs and other artifacts from recent protests, gathering stories from people marching in the streets, and from those impacted by the coronavirus pandemic, which has seen blacks hospitalized at nearly 5 times the rate of whites.
So one of the things that we're trying to do is to capture how all this is impacting individuals in our society. And as a consequence, we've created a space where you can talk about how COVID has affected your life and what kinds of things you might be doing to try to have it lessen that impact.
Would it be fair to say that in some ways this museum is needed now more than ever?
Yes, absolutely. We want to make sure we tell the unvarnished truth, is what we often say, but also to point out that even in the struggles that people face, there are upsides to it. We want our visitors to see both those things, so they understand that there'll be challenges, but there are ways of confronting those challenges and maybe finding a better path to follow in the future.
And Spencer Crew says the response to the reopening has been overwhelming. There's already a long waiting list to get in. As I mentioned, they're going to start at about 250 people today, gradually work their way up to 1,100 people over the next 2 or 3 weeks. But that's only about a quarter of the size of the crowd they used to get before the pandemic, but it's just not safe to let those kinds of numbers in now. Gail?
Yeah, but just the fact that you can go back again is great. Thank you, Chip. You remember back in the day, we got to take the show there. We got to broadcast there live. We were the first network to be able to do so. It's such a powerful, powerful, powerful place. The exhibitions that they have on display, you just walk out of there, I don't care what color you are, you can't help but be moved by the nation and what we've been through and what we've done and what we've accomplished.
I'm so glad museums are reopening sort of gradually all over I went to the Museum of Modern Art this week. Again, very small group of people in there, but it was just so nice to be able to go at all. Yeah. And so I'm really glad to see these.
But 250 people, that's a big difference from 450,000.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
I think there's going to be lines. Be sure you're socially distant in the line.
Yeah.
All right. Well, they have that too.
It's worth it.
It is definitely worth it.